Hey, my friend. I just want to share some thoughts, maybe bounce some thoughts off of each other. Put something in the comments if you want about this. So I came across this video of Jay-Z this morning. Maybe you've seen it. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it by now. That added some levels of concern to some perspectives that had kind of been there in my mind already. So to start off with, years ago, so going back to like when I was a little kid, I've always been interested in the weird and the strange, extraterrestrials, ghosts, things like that. I was really into that. But as far as any kind of red pilling, as far as systems of negative elites, Luciferians, the different groups of Satanists in the higher that you hear about in the higher levels of the higher echelons of society. That's not information that I had really come across until I think it was like 2015 or 16. I started watching Cosmic Disclosure on the Gaia network. Maybe you watched it too. Maybe it was also your dirty little secret that you secretly watched and never told anyone about. Maybe you've never heard of it. I don't know. It was my dirty little secret. I was super interested in it. And it's some weird stuff. So David Wilcock from Ancient Aliens is interviewing this whistleblower. Claims to be a whistleblower with some pretty intense information surrounding around this secret space program. But what he talks about, oh, my dog is now whining at the door because I closed the door because I want to be left alone for a minute. He's going to have to wait. One dog is tucked in with a blanket. He looks adorable. I'm not going to bother trying to show you. He looks cute. Um, Corey Good talks about the secret space program, but he also talks about this network of wealthy people in positions of power involved with different forms of Luciferianism or Satanism, and that they blackmail people within this group to keep these secrets. And I was like, wow, that's really strange, but I actually think that that seems plausible. At the time that I had watched this, that's what I thought. Um, and then years down the road, the Jeffrey Epstein stuff started coming out. And if you kind of start paying attention, there's a lot of little puzzle pieces that do point to this possibility. I mean, we hear about horrendous kind of mafia type trafficking situations all the time. And then also with the Tim Ballard and his work, and then his movie The Sound of Freedom, which I did watch. But prior to that, I had been listening to him for a long time, and the things that he had come across, and that there does seem to be this system of trafficking with certain members of the billionaire class, or the negative 1%, or the elite class. Like, it seems like there's something going on. And then the Jeffrey Epstein situation absolutely points to that. And where I'm at is just like, where did Ghislaine Maxwell go? Interviewing people who knew. It seems like they just really put the kibosh on that whole thing, and I don't know why, but I have actual concerns about it. Oh, there's some buzzing over on this side of my head. If you see any lights on the camera, it's spirit energy. um Ringing. Anyway, so whatever happened with that? Why was that kind of conveniently just tucked aside? I mean, Prince Andrew's involvement, what the heck? So there's that. And then now moving over to the P. Diddy thing. So I hadn't really paid that much of it when I had first started hearing about the P. Diddy thing. I hadn't really paid that much attention to it because I was just like, isn't there enough to worry about? And I was kind of trying to pull away from that kind of stuff. And then I realized, pretty recently, okay, this is an important puzzle piece to this whole network of this. I don't think it's everybody that's in the higher echelons of the corporate political structure, but I think that there is a pervasive system in place where this does happen. When you look into what Tim Ballard has empirically found, it's It really does point to this. And then so the P Diddy thing, it's like I haven't delved very far, but the surface level, it's like that's pretty weird and creepy. And then so Jay-Z, I watched this YouTube short with Jay-Z this morning that was really disturbing, and I'm going to go into why. I'm going to go into all that in a second. But first I want to talk about entertainers who end up so wealthy. Like I'm pretty sure Jay-Z, I think, qualifies as a billionaire. Maybe between him and Beyonce's, I don't know, wealth, net worth, maybe that's something like that. But anytime that I've seen Jay-Z on film or whatever over the years, he seems very like aloof, too cool for school, really emotionless. You don't really get a whole, which I'm going to bring that up later. You don't really get a whole lot of emotion out of him. He seems like he really thinks he's just hot shit. And I remember he had this shirt on some piece of, I don't know, some photo I saw of him, and this was a long time ago, and it said "Do what thou willst," like the Aleister Crowley thing that he supposedly said. That's sort of like his little catchphrase. Well, that dude was into some really dark, creepy shit. And that, I mean, think about that's horrifying stuff to me. That dark occult stuff that people get into. That, I mean, I hear news stories all the time. There was one, was it Tennessee? Shit, if I can find it, I'll put it in the description, along with that Jay-Z short that I'm going to put in there. But a woman doing black magic found she had killed her mother and was chopping her up and cooking her. Like this is a real thing that people do. This is not some made up thing. There is black magic across the planet where this happens. And so to think that it's so outrageous that people in the billionaire class wouldn't be involved, I don't know. Why were you wearing that shirt, Jay-Z? Because anybody who knew about Aleister Crowley would be pretty repulsed by a shirt like that. I would have no interest in ever wearing a shirt like that. So there's the shirt that Jay-Z was wearing. And then the fact that he's super wealthy and always really stoic. I'm not saying that alone. But then so Beyonce, I had seen an album cover. Now, I am not into the mainstream pop music. It's just not my thing. If you like it, cool. I cannot. It makes my ears bleed, and everybody's different. Everybody has different tastes. So I don't listen to it. So when I saw this album cover, I was not interested in listening to Beyonce's music. But them as people, I'm sure they're fine. But the music, that industry of music, that canned pop, that canned bubblegum pop, just, I feel like it's so anti-art. Sorry, opinions, severe, sharp opinion alert. A little too late. But I saw this album cover of Beyonce's, and at the time, I'm pretty sure she was pregnant, and she's like naked, but she's covering her private parts. And the album title was Yoruba Twins Ritual. So I went ahead and Googled it, and I found something very disturbing. And it's so I don't know where in Africa this subculture thing is going back. I don't know the details of it. Look it up if you're curious. But this is a real thing where some people believed that twins were a bad omen, and that it was they would sacrifice one of the babies ritualistically, like they would have the way that they would do it. And so with all of that together with Jay-Z and then the Beyonce thing, I was like, what is going on with those two? It's a little unsettling. And then which brings me now to that YouTube short. Okay, so when the Jeffrey Epstein case kind of started bubbling to the surface, because it was like a long-term thing, initially there was that case that kind of got quashed by, Acosta was involved as one of the lawyers. I can't remember, it was a while ago, but I watched, as it was happening all throughout those years, I watched a lot of like the, ABC 2020 would cover it, and the different news places would cover it. And I was very interested in that story because I was like, this sounds like some sort of billionaire blackmail network. And one of the things that came up that was odd was, so the New York penthouse or whatever that he had. I don't know what you call what real how rich people houses in New York are called. And one of the girls who was one of the victims says, as a teenager, she like worked there, and she remembers this like control room with all these cameras, like a one room where there's all the different cameras in the house. And what she found was odd was that all the bedrooms and bathrooms had cameras. So why were they recording everything that went on in the bedrooms and the bathrooms? Doesn't that sound like potentially some sort of creepy blackmail? Like you would want to, somebody you wanted to have dirt on? You know, you'd have the, well, and why did he have these creepy parties with underage girls, trafficking underage girls? We know that that's what was happening. Little St. James Island, what was going on there, bringing all these, and I don't think everybody that went to the island necessarily was um, involved with what happened, but I think most of them must know what was going on, don't you think? Elon Musk is a billionaire. He must know what goes on. Donald Trump, you must know about this, what was going on. And but that room with the cameras, I thought that was really weird. And then there's this picture of Virginia Giuffre with Prince Andrew, and they're standing in front of a bedroom. And you know, if you look it up, you'll be able to find it. And she says that that was another kind of like, I don't know, blackmail photo, or I don't know. They take pictures of these guys when they're about. So she said that was right before she was trafficked to Prince Andrew, right in front of this bedroom. She said she was young, 15 or 16 at the time that that photo was taken. And so the reason why I'm bringing up that photo is because when you watch the Jay-Z short, pay attention. It's a very similar setup. All the dudes are standing in front of this bedroom, and in, or what appears to be a bedroom or some sort of room. And what I don't like about it is Jay-Z is all of a sudden super like weirdly animated and excited. One of the dudes says something like, "Yeah, this is how we do it on a Saturday." And they're all like, you know, high-fiving each other, doing the bro thing or whatever. And you look in the background, you have to look very closely and you have to kind of pause it and look, but there's this table and there's girls sitting around the table, and they all look to be underage. They all look to be 11, 12, 13, 14. They look very dressed up. How come there's only young girls at that table? If this is, one, Jay-Z never shows that kind of emotion. Two, if this is like, we're getting together with family on a Saturday and we're going to play Monopoly, how come it's just young girls at the table where, like, I don't know, the rest of the family? And then the whole, this is how we do it on a Saturday. It just looks bad. Whatever's going on, it looks bad. You know, could there be some sort of innocent explanation? Sure. But with everything that's starting to come out, this is kind of painting a very bizarre picture. So these structures that we've had in place, the music industry, these political structures, the way that they have been set up, we need to start maybe looking at this and saying maybe they're rotten to the core, and maybe whole new systems, you know, need to be in place. I've thought for a long time music has really gone in this direction of the art has just been sucked out of it. The mainstream packaged news, that too, friends, but music is very just, the art has been sucked out of the stuff that gets mass produced, is devoid of that that essence that makes you feel something deep within. It just feels like empty. And so, you know, it's not just the music industry. You know, a lot of the mass produce, the TV, the movies, it's all just crap. And I just think that these structures need to be questioned. But that was a little bit of a tangent. Watch that Jay-Z thing. Tell me what you think. I don't know. I'm not definitive. This is just an opinion channel. I don't know. I'm just curious and I want to know what you think about it. Um and did you watch Cosmic Disclosure? And what did you think about Corey Good's story? Okay, have an awesome day. Bye, my friend.